The crypto bear has definitely reappeared inside the crypto market. People are starting to wonder, is the bull market over? Trading and investing are not easy things to do. They're very psychological by nature. But there is a way to do really well by doing both. Just like last video, in this video I'll share some trades that I did in the past 24 hours. If you've been following the news, you would say there is no way on earth anybody could make any money going long at spot in this market. At the current time, people are literally fleeing from the crypto market, but they don't have to be running away. In May of 2021, our community was born, and it was born in the reddest of red days. Running into the market when the prices are coming down is the absolute best way to make money under all market conditions. But as with everything, a lot of knowledge is required if you're seeking to be successful. Our community is absolutely famous for catching falling knives and buying on red and selling on green. We have an institution of one mindset. In this video, I'm going to give you some tricks, tips, and pointers how to get that mindset. You're going to find it incredibly valuable. And this is content not available anywhere else on YouTube. Let's run the numbers. The first thing to realize, until you're an expert at spot, please do not leverage trade. There's very good reasons for this. One thing that many people find out, if you leverage trade, you're likely to get liquidated. And depending exactly how you leverage trade, you could lose more than your entire account balance. This poor person lost $10.1 million. The comment was, "I am fully liquidated. 10 million just vanished into thin air." Some may say it wasn't real, but just vapor. I took this screenshot 1 month ago when I hit 10 million. A 3x full port long was not a good idea, but the greed got the best of me. That's why I recommend, if you're not an expert at spot, please do not leverage trade. The first thing I do is I always focus on CTKS structure because it determines price waves. Specifically, I need to know what the Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 charts are doing, at least from a directional perspective at the start of the month. It's incredibly important. On the weekend, it gets a little bit more tricky because the main markets are just not working. They've gone to sleep. So we need to look at the leading indicators of the crypto market, which are Bitcoin and total. And then we look at the subs and try to determine, are they weakening or are they strengthening? Yesterday, I showed a trade where I made $3,800 profit. This profit was created by 5 levels of $10,000 and 1 level of $50,000. And these are all spot trades. I do not do any leverage. If you remember those news headlines, if you were just reading the news, you never would have been in the market at a time like this. I also mentioned yesterday, after I sold that particular Bitcoin, I scaled back in. And here I bought 7 levels of $10,000. You don't have to scale up to this degree. A $100 trade is absolutely fine. What you want to focus on is not so much making profit, but just getting your process correct. But you can see that I made around a $2,000 US profit here. So what you can see, the news headlines would have you running away from the market, but in fact, if you ran into the market, you would make money. One thing to also be aware of, when I do these specific trades, I'm rolling my cash over. So this particular profitability, that $4,000, is actually getting added to by this $2,000 as well. It's the same cash getting recycled. And you can see all the different layering. I sold about 7:20 in the morning, and then 8 minutes later, the first level was hit. And then at 7:36, 7:42, 8:18, 9:11, 12:23, 3 o'clock, and then I sold this morning at 6:30. To do my trading, I use the CTKS method, which is the world's most powerful smart money buy and sell level detection system. To mark it up on your charts, you will require 2 levels of standard certification. But you can just think about it this way. When I put money into the market, I'm putting a lot of money into the market. I also use the knowledge from the CTKS masterclass. Trading and investing is a skill, and staying out of Zone 1 and Zone 2 is incredibly important. These are the zones, and they have behaviors which lose us money. For example, if you follow the news and are addicted to the news, what you're actually doing is you're seeking certainty. Certainty will create terror. Professional investors and traders don't do that. They focus on Zone 3 and Zone 4. They stack probabilities and have lots of different market rules. And there is a huge difference between making money rules and keeping money rules. Making money can be very transitory. We can go from making money right back into Zone 1 and Zone 2 and lose it all. This is why leverage trading is very dangerous. Crypto moves fast enough already. You can do spot trading and you'll do really well. Also, have 3 simultaneous strategies: a down strategy, a neutral strategy, and an up strategy. I specialize in going long at spot. We cannot make the market do what we want the market to do. We cannot control the market's reaction to our trade. We can only just move with the market. You will find from time to time things just don't go in your direction. It's important to be kind to yourself and just focus on your learning. Don't give up, because you're literally one trade away from turning your entire life around. Therefore, persistence and commitment are incredibly important. Do everything possible to maintain inner and outer peace. One fantastic way of doing this is through gratitude. A lot of people, when they're new to markets, they just focus on the money. This is the wrong focus. We need to focus on getting the foundations correct in the first place. It's also important to be aware you don't need to ride every hill and valley profitably. What you need to do is not only to survive but thrive over the long term. When things are clear, make a movement then, and if they're not clear, don't make any moves. Inside the service at ctksmethod.org, I talk a lot about passes and fails. Also, I give 3-dimensional projections for the up price, the neutral price, and the down price, because we always must be aware the price is always moving in a wave. The markets do what they do, but they're always moving between structural levels. Here you're looking at literally a 5-minute chart. You can see how we broke above 57,400 and then just hit that structural level below 58,000. We're just wandering around there now, but we have higher levels of structural resistance above the 58, so we need to be aware of these factors. The beautiful thing about combining investing and trading, when you understand structural levels, you know that if you get a pass, we're heading up to the next structural resistance level above. But if we get a fail, we're heading back to the next structural support level below. This is all in real time. Now, this is a 5-minute chart, only to give you a bit of a perspective on how you can use these different indicators. They're very, very powerful. I use them in all of my trading. Here are the results from another trade I made on Ethereum Classic. You can see I put 3 levels of $1,000 in and made $187 in profit. One thing that you'll find, you can scale these results up as you go. You don't have to just use whatever that is. For example, you could use a $10 level, a $20, a $50, a $100 level. Just start where you are, and from that position, just gain the confidence to know what you're doing. Here is another trade on Doge that was done about 3 days ago. You can see that you can do really well if you buy correctly. I've always said profit is where you buy, because if you buy correctly, no matter where you sell, you're going to be doing okay. This is $116 profit in this particular case. All of these trades are made with a knowledge of structure. Basically, I refuse to do any trade on any chart not marked up with structural levels. Here is a trade done on XRP. You can see this is just a couple of days old, but 4 levels of $1,374 in profit. But without a knowledge of structure, I just wouldn't have the confidence to lean in with anything. This is also why I say the news is not your friend. The news is backwards looking. The action inside the markets is forwards looking. I typically look at the news and invert the sentiment. I also have a lot of different rules that I apply, and I share a lot of these inside the masterclass. Another thing to focus your attention on is to deal positively with losses. This is a life lesson for sure. Just like in the markets, we get life rallies and life pullbacks, life rallies and life pullbacks, and life rallies. When it comes to financial markets, price is always moving up and down, up and down. This is just the way it is. There's a lot to learn when it comes to financial markets. Probably no greater rule exists than no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. What you will find, some alts exceed Bitcoin's gravity and some alts are weaker than Bitcoin's gravity, but it's always there. And also, as Bitcoin starts to improve, we expect that the alts will outperform Bitcoin. So it's a good idea to be in Bitcoin when the market is tanking and then rotate into the alts as Bitcoin starts to recover. Now, has Bitcoin recovered? I wouldn't be so sure on that right at the current time, but all we need to do is to look at structural levels across the Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 charts. Also, keep in mind what's happening with the major markets. For example, the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, the Dow, and the Russell. The Russell is looking a little bit weak at the current time. Your ability to know where the structural levels are and how to interpret them is the thing that's going to make you money. When SLs or Stanfield levels are above the current price, this means that the sellers are there. You can look at this line and this line. They're light levels. This one is a little bit heavier. So there's light selling above, but it's currently accumulating. There are 2 levels of sell activity, and then there's a higher one. You can have absolute certainty that price is always moving from structural level to structural level, and the more structural levels you get, the more price will curl over like this. And it actually goes the other way. If price goes down through structural levels, these act as safety nets. If price comes down hard, you'll need more and more safety nets to fling price back up again. All you need to do is to observe what happens with price around these structural levels. That will tell you everything that you need to know. It is the ultimate certainty. Have a great day or night ahead, my friends, and remember, certainty comes from stacked probabilities of structural levels combined with rules inside Zone 3 and Zone 4, and to be your own financial advisor is the key of everything. The most important thing that you'll ever learn. Just keep your eyes on structure. If you're looking at what structure is doing, you know already where price can go. And you want to always stack probabilities across the Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 charts. The majority of the structural indicators are already available from ctksmethod.org. Have a great day or night ahead, my friends, and Kate and I look forward to catching up with you again in the next video. Bye for now.